Hello, pedestal table in OnShape. So far we have drawn our parts. We should see those in our tabs down the bottom. So we've been through these sort of things. The other videos showed how to do these things. The last thing in the video was the assembly. So if you, I think I've showed you how to do the colors. So you should be able to change the colors of this, make this look good, get it zoomed in, and take a screenshot, and that can go in your folio. That would look really good. But this video is about doing these things called drawings. So we can create professional looking drawings that show us how to build the project. So they've got our dimensions. They show us the information that we need to build from. I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm not going to show you exactly what you are to do. I want you to work that out yourself. I'll show you a couple of things, how we place views and do the dimensions and do some labeling. I would like you to be able to choose the placement and which pieces are going to be most important to place to give the information that we need to build from. So the drawing tab looks a bit different to the other tabs. We've got a different set of tools across the top. The main ones we'll be using are here, the insert view, and the one right next to it is the projected view. They're actually pretty closely linked to each other, and often what the program will default to do is you insert a view. As soon as you insert the view, the selection will jump straight to projected view. So you need to be aware of that. If you're one of those compulsive clickers who just click and click and click, you can make this thing go really bad. Yeah, it can make your page look really bad without realizing it, and it's because that selection jumped across. So be careful about your clicking. Dimension tool will be getting used. Not the A in the box, but the A over here, the note tool, we'll use that. And there's a couple of tools here that we'll use just very briefly. So let's begin. We're going to go down to insert new element, and you're going to go create drawing. This will create the new tab, but first we've got to choose the correct template. So it has to be a custom template. So choose custom, then we choose ISO. We'll change the page size to A3. That should give us a little bit more room, and we'll go third angle. It won't remember your selections, so if you've done this before, you've got to choose it again. Custom, ISO, A3, third angle, and OK. So it takes a second to create the drawing space. That would be our page. If we were to print this, that's what our page would look like. As on opening, we're going to be straight into the insert view. It's already selected and it's ready to go. So that's what this dialog is here. So it's telling us, where do you want to look for what you want to insert? You want to look in the current document. Are you going to look at the part studios? Don't select the assemblies. Maybe later you could do that. If you wanted to place a view of the completed object, you could do it there. But I'm not going to show you how to do that. You can experiment a bit later. And I'm going to select one of the support pieces. So I'm going to click that. And I haven't clicked, but it shows me what the view will look like. If you don't like the look of that view, we can change the orientation in this box. It's defaulted to the front view, so if you go, oh, actually, I want the top view, give it a second and it will preview it. There it is. And you change it there. So I'm happy with front view. The scale, it'll set automatically. You shouldn't need to change that, but if I go bigger numbers, 1 to 4, 1 to 6, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, the object will get smaller. If you go to smaller numbers, 1 to 2, 1 to 1, the placement of this will get bigger. I'm happy to leave it at 1. Whoops, what did I do? I accidentally clicked there and it placed that view right there. And see what it did straight away? It jumped to the projected view. So that's what this weird box that's following my cursor around is. So I'm actually just going to cancel out of that by clicking that again. So nothing is selected and I can drag my item back into the page. If you place too many views or it got out of hand, deselect everything. So you can press escape, select the view you don't want, press delete and it'll go away. So I'll quickly insert again. Insert, support, click the part. I'm happy with that. I'm going to place it up about here. Click once. The selection jumps straight to projected view. And if I move the cursor to the top, it'll show me what the top view looks like. If I move it to the right, it'll show me what the right of the object looks like. If I move to the top right, it'll give me a 3D view, etc. We can go all the way around to place views. I'm just going to place the top view for now. Click to place it. That stays selected, so make sure you deselect before you do anything. So for this part, we haven't got enough information yet to know how to build it, so we would need to add some dimensions. And what you do with the dimension is you go from one point or one edge to another edge. So click, click, and then find a place where it looks good by moving your cursor and click to place it. That tells us the length is 300. Do I need to do the length of this piece? I actually don't, because those views are perfectly in line with each other. So if this one's 300, automatically we know that that one's 300. Edge to edge, that'll give us the width of this piece. That's important. The thickness of this object is going to be pretty important. So we can place that there, edge to edge. These chamfers are going to be a pretty important thing to do. So you click once, move the cursor up. Notice if I move out at an angle, it'll do the angled dimension of that, the angled length, which is no good for us. So we want to get the vertical length. So it's 10, here to here. We've got to be careful here. We wouldn't want the short dimension to cross the longer dimension. So it's actually going to look pretty untidy. So I think I'm going to place that there. Now I'm going to deselect by pressing escape. I'm just going to drag this dimension out. Give us a little bit more room. And I think if I put the 10 to the top, that should make it look a little bit tidier. So we know the size of that chamfer. Is it important to know the size of this cutout? So we could, if you wished, dimension that up. Is it important to know the depth of that cutout? So that could be something you need to dimension as well. A circular dimension is pretty important. What size would you, how would you know how to drill a hole if it wasn't there? So click once on the circle. So I'm on the dimension tool and click another time to place it. With circles, it's good to put a center mark. So over here, we click on the center mark and then click on the circle, and it puts that little cross in the middle. So the reason that is done like that is if you needed to take a measurement off the drawing, you could measure exactly the center of the circle. Center line is important as well, but before we get to the center line, I'm going to escape. How deep is that hole drilled? We don't know because it doesn't show us on our drawing. So we need to show a little bit more information. So on this view, select it, right click and go show hide. If I show hidden lines, it puts these dashed lines here, and that indicates that that hole goes all the way through that piece. So I'm going to jump back to this center line. So we select that, click on this edge of that hidden line, that edge of that hidden line, and because it's a hole, a circle, we know that it's got a center. So that's why I put a center line there. So even without that top view, you could look at this and go, well, there's a center line there. There must be a hole in there somewhere. That's the purpose of it. So that's it for that. I'm not going to do any more. If you think it's important to add dimensions for the joint there, you can do that. I'm going to go back to this projected view and show you what else. So we select the projected view. At the moment, nothing's happening until we select one of the views. So I'm going to select this view. Now we get to that thing where we move the cursor around and it shows we get different views of the object. So either top right or top left, one of those views I think is going to look good. It's going off the page. I clicked once to place it. It's going off the page, but that's okay. If I escape to deselect the tool, I can drag this onto the page. And I'm just going to place this nearby, somewhere here. Because there was hidden lines in this, and we projected from that, it's put hidden lines in this. So we could turn those off, but I think what looks good is the shaded views. Yeah, I'm going to hide the hidden lines. I reckon it looks better without them. So, adding notes. So we click the note, and we're going to place it nearby because we're going to name this joint. So I'm going to place it there. So I'm not going to name it for you. Oh dear, caps lock. So write the name of the joint, place it in the text box. It'll jump to another note. So you can place as many notes as you need to show you things in important things in the drawing. Press escape to deselect. This would be good if I right clicked and did add leader and put an arrow to where the joint is. I want you to name the correct joint. What is it called? What type of joint is that? Add a leader and we'll point to the chamfer. That gives us nearly enough information to make that piece. You might need to put the dimensions here if you think it's important. I'm going to go through it again and show you very quickly how we can add one more piece. Then that'll probably have to be the end of this video. Insert. Let's go the stem. Click on the part. It's giving me a side view straight up, which I'm happy with, and I'll place that side view there. Click to place it. It's going to automatically jump to the projected view. So I'm just going to deselect that for now. Dimensions. It'll be pretty important to know the size of this tenon. So let's place that in. Oh, if you accidentally click on the thing, that thing comes up. Now, if I click edge to edge rather than point to point, it'll come up as a diameter measurement, which is perfect because that's round. So that's good to have that. It's probably important to know the overall height of this object. It's probably also good to know the height of that octagonal section. What size of timber do we cut this from? Well, we don't know. So quickly show you a projected view again. So I've selected projected view. Let's click on the view we want to project. I'm going to move the cursor down. Let's have a look at the preview. That's good. It shows the octagon shape. And I'll click to place it. and deselect the projected view. Let's dimension it, and it will show us that we get to use a 70mm piece of timber. I don't need to dimension the rest. If I only put it once, it means the other dimensions will be the same. Do we need to place more views? Different information? I'll let you guys do that. Is it important to label more things? Do we need more dimensions? I'll let you guys do that. Lastly, it's good to write your name in here. Write the title in here, so you can do that with the note button. Click the note button, write your name in this box, write pedestal table in this box, and then you should be able to export it somehow by printing. I'm not sure, I'd have to work it out, but I'm going to end this video here. It's been a pretty long video. What is important to add to a drawing so you could build from? I'll let you guys go and do that now.